I believe it was Ben Franklin who said, by failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. In this episode, we're going to chat about how we prep and plan to have amazing referral success. Hey there, and welcome to episode 274 of the Roadmap to Referrals podcast, a show about helping you build a referable business. I'm your host, Stacy Brown Randall. My journey from a business failure to a successful business now 10 years in, I know generating referrals naturally and consistently has made all the difference. Working with clients around the world, we leverage the science of referrals, protect relationships above all else, and help you build a referable business. I am very excited for this episode to share with you guys just a little sneak peek about how we prepare inside BRB. Now, BRB is building a referable business, not Be Right Back. It is building a referable business, the coaching program. And I grabbed a snippet at one of our recent question and answer sessions that we have. We had at the time of this recording, it was recent. It may not be as recent when you guys are listening to this, but I went in and I grabbed just a snippet from one of the weekly Q&A sessions that we have inside BRB, which we do those every week. Is where people come, they ask their questions, and I answer them, and they get feedback from me live on everything that they're working on. And it's how we prepare to make stuff happen. And I think it's really important to share this with you because anytime you're making the decision to dive into a training or to work with a consultant or maybe to go through some coaching or join a mastermind, anything like that, where you're going to have to do some work to get the results you want, which is, pretty much like everything in life. But I think it's really important you understand how it works from the inside and how the program, in my case, I want people to understand how we structure BRB so people understand how people then get the results that we are able to share that our members receive. And so there's a few main tenets of how BRB operates. And one of those main tenets is this thing called the 90-day sprint. Now, the 90-day sprint is just really what we call a list of things to do. It's like a fancy name for a list of things to do, broken down into 3 30-day increments, hence 90-day, right? But you're only looking at it from here's my first 30 days, my second 30 days, and my third 30 days. And we call it a sprint because it's a smaller amount of time, and we're just looking at what we're doing over the next 90 days. But really, when you're in it, it's just okay, what do I have to do this 30 days? And then when that 30 days is over and you've moved on to the next 30 days, it's like, okay, what am I doing with this next 30 days? And so we refer to it as the 90-day sprint. Now, when you join BRB, you get a one-on-one onboarding call with me where we hop on Zoom together. We go through some pre-work that you've put together that I'm able to look at it. And the pre-work for me is like magic on my end because I can look at your pre-work and be like, I know exactly what we're doing here. I know exactly how I'm going to build out your 90-day sprint. Of course, I got to bring you along with me to get on the same page of what we ultimately want to accomplish. And I've got some questions we want to ask because I want to make sure we're doing the right 90-day build out. But we set your first 90-day sprint immediately. Like once you have your onboarding call, which is usually within the week or 2 weeks of people joining after they finish their pre-work, we have this onboarding call. We build out your first 90-day sprint. But you have 3 more 90-day sprints while you're in BRB. And so I've been working with the clients inside BRB to make that process just a little bit more streamlined and to make that process a little bit more, hey, let's make sure we're prepping for our second 90-day sprint or a third 90-day sprint in a more streamlined way, right? Because you have a total of 4 90-day sprints in BRB. Because we set the first one right when you join, we've got 3 more to go after that. And so I wanted you guys to hear kind of like this different and new way that I'm having my BRB members prep for their second 90-day sprint and beyond. So why is it important that I share this with you, right? Because it's not just because I want you to hear how something happens inside BRB, because maybe it'll entice you to join. Okay, maybe that's like a small part of the reason. But I actually believe that the way we are talking about prepping for the next 90-day sprint inside BRB can absolutely be applied to anything you're trying to accomplish in your business and should be on the regular. And so I wanted you guys to hear this clip of me walking through how we are now planning or prepping for the next 90-day sprint inside BRB. And then think about, and the moment of you listening to me talk through it, how do you take the lesson, how do you take the learning from this and apply it to your business to have success? So you guys know Randall, who's in the group. He finished his first 90-day sprint, and then he was ready for his second one. And I had him do something that I haven't had people do before. And I thought, oh, I really like how this worked for him making decisions on me helping him figure out where he goes next. And so what I did is I actually had him, so when he finished his 90-day sprint, we had a milestone call. We were working through some things very specific that he wanted to talk about. There wasn't enough time left in that milestone call to build out his next 90-day sprint because I had a bunch of questions. So what I did is that I asked him to email me just a quick roundup of what he has accomplished and what has happened. And so what I asked him to do is go back through your first 90-day sprint and type up for me, like in bullet point form, I don't need it to be perfect, everything that you've done, right? The things that you've implemented, the trainings that you've gone through, the things that you've implemented, the success that you guys have had. I mean, Randall had some very, very fast early success. And so he got, I think his goal, or I don't remember what his goal was, but last year, his referrals for 2022 was 20. He had 20 referrals in 2022. He joined BRB in February, I believe. And in his first 90 days, he got 32 referrals. So he, in 90 days, got 12 more referrals total than he got all of last year. So we got 32 referrals. And I think like the ROI on that was like 3x or 4x, just his investment in BRB as well, with the ones that closed into revenue, into paying clients. And so he had some fast success and he'd done a lot. And he moved really quickly through a number of things. And my fear is that we forget some of the things that we've done and implemented and learned as we're just moving on to the next thing to learn. And so I wanted him to give me a recount, right? Just like go back through and tell me what you've done, what trainings you've done, what you've implemented. Now, Randall does have part of a team helping him, so that definitely makes things a little bit easier. But so he did, he bullet pointed, all right, I went through Growth by Referrals program. We built out this plan. We've executed on this many touch points. We have this many touch points coming up. I went through Referable Client Experience. This is what we've implemented. This is where we still are to implement in this. And he literally just went through everything that he has done. And then he gave me bullet points of his success. Here's how many referrals we received. Here's how many new referral sources we have. And here's how much revenue to date we've made. It's basically like just an overview of what he's done. Once he sent that to me, I was able to read through it. He gave me really good statistics. So I knew this is how many referrals we've received, right? This is how much money we've made, like all those kind of things. That then prompted me to send him back a couple of questions. And so I was going to show you guys. Well, actually, maybe I'll just pull it up because I don't think I have it to save it. So let me pull it up. All right, I'm going to just read these from the screen. So based on what he sent me, then I was able to send him back some questions. And my questions were, do you feel you have any issues with closing at least more than 50% of the referred prospects you receive? And then I said, if so, checking out the first meeting script might be a good resource to learn the 2 questions to ask when first speaking to a referred prospect. I said, because you're so good at tracking, I recommend you look back at what your closing ratio of referred prospects have been and then track what happens. Also, when you start using the first meeting script language. My second question is, do you feel you have any quality issues? Meaning, are the prospects being referred to you the right fit for your 2 companies? Marie's doing this within 2 companies. If no quality issues, good. If you have quality issues with even 1 referral source, then the quality conversation script is one to review. And in each of these, I told him where to go find them. I told him if they're situational or whatever. And number 3, since you've increased your referral sources already from 46 to 71, do you feel you need more? If so, then the next big strategy to implement is referring machines. Since you're implementing referable client experience right now, you may want to hold off for this for another month or so. And then I listed some other strategies that I thought would be worth it for him to consider. So he read through my questions, and then he came back with his response to those questions, like, hey, first meeting script sounds great. Don't really have any quality issues, but my closing ratio is lower than I want it. So there's just a dialogue. We were just doing it over email because I was on vacation. And so there wasn't going to be a milestone call for me to do this with him for my Alaskan cruise when I barely had internet. And so I just answered those questions back. And then he answered. So I sent him my thoughts, and then he answered with his questions. And from there, I created his next 90-day sprint. But what I found that was so helpful is like having him put what he's accomplished in writing. Most of the time when you guys do a 90-day sprint, we hop on a milestone call and we verbally talk through what you've done and where you want to go next, which is great. But there were things, because Randall was giving me a detailed account of what he had accomplished, what trainings he had gone through, what they had actually implemented, what they still needed to implement, and what his success was in terms of referrals received, how many turned into clients, and how much revenue. Because of all that data, I was able just to dig in deeper, and he could only come up with it given the space to sit and write that down, not trying to come up with it off the top of his head. So this is just something to consider. I'm not going to force you guys to do a roundup at the end of every 90 days to get another 90-day sprint or a milestone call. I wouldn't. That's just not what I'm going to do. But I do know I recommended things to Randall that I would not have thought to recommend if he hadn't given me the information he gave. And because he was putting it in writing, it was detailed, and he took some time with it. Like we had a call and I said, just, give this to me when you can. And he got it to me like the next week, which was fine, right? I didn't need it right away. I didn't need him to rush through it. And it was like when you printed it out, it was like a page and a half of just data points to what he's done. Something to consider, right? The other thing is it helps remind you of actually everything you've done. It helps remind you of everything you've accomplished, even the small things, right? And how that's impacting or not impacting your success, because that data to me helps me guide you better. And so I feel very confident in his next 90-day sprint. He is going to tackle referring machines after he gives himself another month with referable client experience, but he's diving into the first meeting script. And then eventually he'll probably move into testimonials made easy. So he's got some options of where he's headed. His 90-day sprint literally looks like first 30 days, finish implementing referable client experience. Then moving in his second 30 days to his second 30-day mark referring machines, and giving himself 2 months to do that. And then we sprinkled in some minor situational things as well. So just something for you guys to keep in mind as you're going through what you're learning. Sometimes we get on the, what am I doing next? What am I doing next? Versus paying attention to what you have in place and what's working and what's not working, because that helps me guide and direct. And because we have a year together, we've got time to do this, right? I mean, like we've got time for every 90 days for you to be like, okay, what have I done? I mean, I think this is a great thing to do in your business in general. I'm just asking you to do it within BRB. Just do a debrief of like, what have I accomplished? So I hope you enjoyed listening to me talk to my members about how to prepare for the next thing they want to accomplish. Now, as you heard me say, I just want them to do this from the time that they're with me inside BRB. And the other piece to that is there are people who renew inside BRB. Like I've had people who are going on their 3rd+ year with me inside BRB. And so they're doing way more than just 4 90-day sprints. They're doing as many as they want for as long as they're around. But you can use this outside of just BRB. Obviously, you can use this with anything you're trying to accomplish. You can use this on a quarterly basis. You can use this when you roll out a new initiative. Oh my gosh, the ways to really use this functionality inside your business will be super helpful. And while we're on the topic of BRB, I just want to quickly mention, coming up later this month, I will be sharing exactly how the magic works, how the magic happens inside my Building a Referable Business coaching program. I'm going to show you how I work with clients to help them double, triple, or quadruple their referrals in as little as 90 days. And I'm going to do this through a private live training. And for you to get your invitation to this, you're going to need to submit your application. So go to stacybrownrandall.com/referable to submit your application and, of course, get all of the training details. The link again is stacybrownrandall.com/referable. I hope it was helpful for you to hear in relation to my current members of BRB and what they are doing, and you walked away with something you can now apply inside your business and will be helpful for you as you continue to grow. Of course, all resources mentioned in this episode can be found in the show notes page at stacybrownrandall.com/274. That's for episode 274, and Stacy has an E. Coming up next week is episode 275, and we're going to apply some of the applications that tech startups use to improve your referrals. Until then, you know what to do, my friend. Take control of your referrals and build a referable business. Bye for now.